I do think there's a yin and yang, no
Sure.
matter what. Like for instance, when we talk about MJ and even Kobe in their leadership style, they had Phil Jackson, where
True.
you had that very MJ and Kobe were very like generals. They were like, this is how it's gonna be. Every practice is gonna be crazy. But then you
Bad
had Phil
cops.
Jackson, who had the freaking whole weird hippie vibe
Yeah.
added to the aroma of things, and then kind of changing people's perspective on a long NBA season or whatever.
Good cop, bad cop type shit.
Yeah, and even in like Magic or LeBron's case, and I always just compare that because to me they have very similar like leadership styles. Like LeBron, with the Heat, he had Pat Riley and that militant mentality and kind of this is how things are going. Even though LeBron's more like fun, and I think LeBron had the most fun in that Miami run for sure.
Sure.
That was like when they had the freaking the Harlem Shake dance.
Which is so ironic because everything you've heard about Miami besides that little era of time is it's one of the hardest organizations to play for. They wake check you every fucking like 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah. But he has that with him too. Like he's like that, but he's just not. He just like I think he just approaches it a little differently. But that helped him moving forward too because he kind of used that.
It shaped. He took what he liked from that experience and brought it with him for sure.
But even if you could go like to each experience after the fact too. Ty Lue, the reason they won a championship was because of Ty Lue's mentality. He had that rugged Laker mentality because he played with those Lakers. He knew how that process worked. And then even with Frank Vogel was very similar to that too, where he was like defensive minded. He like you have to do you like he was on players as well. A lot of people tend to say LeBron was really the coach or whatever, but in reality, we saw that 2015 Cavs team versus that 2016 Cavs team completely different. Even in the middle of that season, 2016, Ty Lue took over and they went crazy and they did well.
Yeah. It was also the respect factor too. LeBron and the majority of the Cavs just had no respect for David Blatt. Feel bad for that guy. He might have been a good coach, but he was just put in the shittiest situation in all of mankind.
Yeah, and it was like everybody was just waiting for him for his time to.
Facts.
So, but so I always do think that there's a yin and a yang.
Yeah.
But to me, and I feel like this whole intangible thing is all preference anyways. Like we said, like it was pretty much 51-49 Jordan, LeBron in that last thing. Here is going to be similar. It's like literally who do you prefer? What mentality do you prefer over the other? And for me, I think everybody would know that I'm obviously more of a MJ kind of style because obviously I was a Kobe style. And the way I look at it is their style caused them to win 11 championships collectively. And I understand
who's them. You're saying Michael Jordan,
and Kobe Bryant collectively. That leadership style, like we saw them win 5 championships and go to 13.
Yeah.
LeBron James style. And I put in Magic Johnson there too because I like literally always compare those players.
Yeah.
They went to in total what 19, maybe 20 NBA Finals.
A fuck ton.
Yeah, and they won 11. No, they won 9. So like, sure, you might get there a little bit more, but I feel like that play style that it makes you more ready for when that moment is there. Like you could say, sure, you might say it's because of the player or not, but I feel like their team was ready when that moment came.
That's why even though the play styles are similar and you are not the only one to compare LeBron and Magic at all. Like you're not the only one, and I get to see the comparison, especially on the floor. But Magic was more ruthless as a leader. Like he wasn't super ruthless, like MJ level ruthless, but he would get his teammates fucking prepared for those moments. Like. He would do it with a little bit more of a smile and kindness, but he was very calculated, and that was one of the major differences between Irvin and Magic when they always make.
Yeah, I'm not saying his competitive drive wasn't there. I just think that because his yin and yang really was Pat Riley, but also Kareem. Kareem, his leadership style is like, we're not really even talking that much. We could go in there for business, we're getting this shit done. And Magic was like, he brought the fun to the team. He like made it more exciting, which I think LeBron does very similarly. Like if you look at all the teams LeBron has won championships with, or even had great records with, they always look like they're having fun. That 66 Cavs team, the first go around, his first 7 years, he was. I remember them dancing and stuff before games and during games, and like when they would dunk, when LeBron would dunk on somebody or someone would dunk, like they would go crazy on the bench and stuff. Like they had a lot of fun, and it showed like with their record and stuff. They did very well, and they went to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, even though the Spurs are considered boring basketball, I definitely think the people on the Spurs had fun playing in that system, and I think that I find Duncan and LeBron's leadership styles to be eerily similar, like more similar than LeBron and Magic for me, just because it's all the same thing. You got that bad, like Popovich would be the bad guy in that situation, and Duncan is always the arm over the shoulder guy. We've seen so many cuts of Duncan putting his arm around guys, and like there is moments like Steven Jackson had with the Spurs organization, but for the most part, Duncan won the whole time he was there. Obviously, we've talked about that. And same thing as LeBron's teams, where they lots of ball movement from the Spurs. Like they look constantly engaged. You know what I mean? And I think, and even if you wanted to replace Duncan with Magic in that little finals comparison, the numbers are pretty similar. Like it's still they made it to like, I don't know, 15 to 20 finals, and they won.
They've been 6 plus LeBron's 10, that's 16. 16, and they would have won. My only difference with LeBron and Duncan is like Magic did this too, like where he used, like, sure, it wasn't as crazy, but Magic used the media to his advantage at that point, and Tim Duncan literally never
that's true.
Thought to do stuff like that, and like even like I've seen times when Magic will be pissed at a teammate or something. Like you don't really see that from Timmy on the basketball court. I've seen LeBron, like we've actively we have like a 10-minute clip of LeBron shitting on JR and getting mad at the situation and
Mario Chalmers.
Exactly.
He screamed at Mario Chalmers on the bench before.
So that's the only, like, I understand the Tim Duncan comparison. I just think LeBron, like, I feel like Magic was definitely one of his like
100%. I'm not disagreeing with that in any way.
And I feel like he took on a lot of his style too, and then obviously even Jordan style. Like LeBron has some of the Jordan things too. It's just not as it's not as obvious, and it doesn't pop out as much as like things.
And I don't think he had it as naturally as Jordan did. I think he learned it over a period of time of getting his ass dragged.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But I think, Lindsay, you're taking LeBron for leadership style.
Yeah,
And you're taking, so it's up to me. Oh.